Let me please start our roundtable today, and I'd like to also thank the Casting Bridge, who was the initiator of this discussion. So I think it's a very timely and relevant topic to cover, because in general, just also to maybe let you a little bit know that Russian industry is developing so fast and so quickly, and we see it basically in all respects. We see it both in sales of Russian content, films, series, animation, which is growing dramatically, 30% increase of annual sales. We see it in festivals, where the amount of Russian films is booming, like here as well, and we expect some other festivals which will be showing more of the Russian cinema. Animation is also amazing, which is not related to our own table, and definitely talents, because for sure in any country talents is the main asset, and you can do nothing without it. So we promised ourselves 1.5 years ago we're going to develop and explore this topic as well a bit more, and to promote Russian talents as well. So we're doing a lot of also with international press, just to tell more about who are the faces of Russian cinematography. And today we're happy to do the discussion on the actors, because definitely Russia has a new generation of actors, young, ambitious, talented, curious, ready for experiments, very open-minded, which is very good, and what is most important, English-speaking. Somebody is trying to say that, oh, I can learn the role. That is not true. That's what we are always trying to tell them. You must be English-speaking. It doesn't work otherwise. And so today we have one of the representatives, it's Alexander Kuznetsov, who we're happy to welcome. We have also Yanga. She's an international talent. I would call her this way, but she actually started very efficiently also in Russia. We wanted to invite Yuri Kolokonikov, who's now going to the airport straight away, but he might be back. But it's anyway great to have you here, because we are very much interested in that, how you perceive it, what type of maybe advice and recommendations you could give also to Russian talents, maybe even to dare, because the majority of them just don't dare. That's an interesting fact. And even they have talent, they don't have the courage. Russia is actually a very modest nation. They are not used to promote themselves. No, honestly, it's like sovereign mentality, very different to the US or European countries. So we're happy to welcome the Casting Bridge team and all of you here to start this dialogue, and I hope this will be the first in a row, but definitely just the first, and we're going to have much more in front of us. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Evgenia Markova. Welcome everyone, dear ladies and gentlemen, chers mesdames et messieurs, дорогие дамы и господа. We'll go on in English, of course, because it's all about Russian-speaking, English-speaking actors. Thank you, Roskino and Evgenia Markova, for inviting us for this event. And thank you, Casting Bridge, Yulia Hamitova, Olga Kurskova, and Philip Perkon also, who created this community during the Russian Film Week in London. And so our topic is Russian actors' new trends. And let me present first our speakers. You already know Alexander Kuznetsov. He's an actor, a very versatile actor, singer, songwriter, guitarist, known for his characters. I just hope this roof will not fly away.
We will know soon how reliable are French constructions.
Yeah, let's check.
I hope they are. It's not the first festival they're doing.
Yeah. Well, so speaking about Alexander, we know him playing characters in such films as Why Don't You Just Die, Acid, Leto, directed by Kirill Serebrennikov, which was an official Cannes competition in 2019. This is my text. Don't look at it. Yeah, you have your text, I have mine. This year Alexander stars in Rachel Lang's film Our Man. In French is Mon Légionnaire, that you can go and see on the 5th of July, 8:30 in the morning or 8:30 in the evening. You choose one. In Théâtre Croisette. It's 15th, July 15th, if not, it counts. So, it's Director's Fortnight Quinzaine de Réalisateur program. You're all very welcome. So I started from Alexander just because he's next to me. Debbie McWilliams, we're very glad to see you here. Thanks for being here with us. Debbie is a leading casting director who has cast the last at least 40. Oh, I don't know why this happened. Okay, thank you. So, a leading international casting director who has cast the last at least 40 James Bond films, and this project has taken her all around the world, casting A-list actors and some unknown actors as well. She has worked with directors like Danny Boyle, Derek Jarman, Roman Polanski, Stefan Frears, Anthony Minghella, Sam Mendes, Ron Howard, just to name a few. Debbie was also in the jury of the Golden Unicorn Awards in 2018, I think. And she has already seen a lot of Russian films and discovered Russian actors and actresses, we should say. So welcome, Debbie. After Debbie, the next speaker is Steve. Steve's cat. Sorry, I just have such a different order, so I need to welcome Steve. Steve is an agent and a co-founder of the Subtitle talent agency that represents some of Europe's finest established and emerging actors, providing management and development of their careers internationally. Some Russian-speaking clients include Alexander Kuznetsov, Mariana Spivak, Danila Kozlovsky, Sofia Lebedeva, Yuri Kolokolnikov, who is going to the airport, Yulia Snegir, Yuri Borisov, and others. We welcome Steve here. The next expert is Sanya Drakulic. Please, if I pronounce something just right. Okay, Sanya Drakulic. She's an actress and a casting director and the CEO of Duert Company, the first digital casting platform in the southeast of Europe, right? So, over the last 3 years, about 80 actors were cast in 12 foreign projects thanks to her platform. Her credits as casting director include the pilot of TV series The Dark Tower for Amazon, films Ibiza, Netflix, and Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, Lionsgate. Welcome, Sanya. And next speaker is my colleague and friend, Julia Hamitova, an actress, producer, and co-founder of the Casting Bridge community, an international community of English-speaking, Russian-speaking, and other languages-speaking actors and actresses. So, that's right. Multi-language speaking actors. And next to Yulia, Anastasia Reshetnikova, a Russian-Dutch actress based in Amsterdam, also a member of our community. Anastasia was selected from over 3,000 applicants from 123 countries as a first ever Russian talent at Berlinale Talents 2021.
There was a lot of Russian talent. I was the first Russian actress.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, first, actress. In the category of actress. Her filmography includes over 20 projects with roles in Russian, English, and Dutch. Welcome, Anastasia. So, we have just 1 hour, so what I would like to propose, we will discuss our main point first. Everyone can express himself or herself. I also prepared for each speaker one question to ask. We also have our audience, and at the end of our panel, you will have a chance to ask your questions, so think about it. We also have an Instagram live of Casting Bridge Instagram account. It's Casting Bridge Russian Film Week, right? So those who are watching us, hello. You can also text your questions and we'll ask them at the end. Thank you very much. I hope everyone has a negative test. Yeah? That's great. Then we can start. So,
and don't forget about you.
Yes, right. That's interesting. So my name is Daria Pisareva. I'm a Russian actress born in Moscow. I've been based in Paris for the last 2 years and a half. I came to Cannes in 2017 with Loveless of Andrzej Zagitsa, where I played a part. And here I met my boyfriend filmmaker, Gael, who is taking pictures now. I met Yulia Hamitova, who later invited me to join the community. And so, yeah, that's me. It's a pleasure to be moderator of this panel. So, new trends in casting of Russian talent in film industry. You know, Russian actors used to play pretty stereotypical roles like years ago, and this trend is changing now. I think you all agree that characters are more interesting and roles are bigger. So, what are the trends? Speaking about Russian actors in your country, in the country you're based, in Britain or in Croatia, could you talk about these new trends concerning Russian-speaking talents? Is it developing? Is it a good tendency, or it's especially because of what's happening now with the COVID? Would you like to say something that is happening? Is it still a good trend? Are there still more and more? Yes, please. I see that sound.
Yes, well, I agree. It was a similar situation in Croatia, that we all used to play same roles. Most of the time, Croatian actors were also playing Russian roles and being Russian and having some kind of accent and being involved in such specific roles. Now these days, I have a sensation and feeling that, as you said, the things are changing, and we are getting more and more bigger roles, more and more roles which are not just considered to be an acting with an accent. It's allowed to be the accent over there, because if you're shooting in Croatia, some of the producers manage to say, yes, we are in the script in Croatia, and that guy is allowed to have a Croatian accent. So with that and with that acceptance, I think that we managed to have better and better roles. That's the situation in Croatia for now.
And Sunny, can you tell us more about your platform? How does it work and how people use it?
Sure. I mean, we wanted. It's a different in Croatia. Croatia is a really small market, and the situation was that we didn't have any kind of databases, and we don't have agents, we don't have managers. So the situation was really, really strange and different. And then I wanted to have one specific digital place where we can have all the actors listed, and in that way help casting directors to find the perfect match for the perfect role. So I created DoArt to really list all the actors, but then in 2020 we changed it and agreed to have all the filmmakers on site, because we realized that not only actors need the visibility and promotion, as you said at the beginning, but also editors, also cinematographers, also DOPs need that kind of visibility. And we have a quite skilled crew, and for me was sad that none of them is working abroad, so I wanted to cross the borders and engage also Croatian crew in other projects.
Thank you. The previous question was actually very interesting. It was about the working with the Russian and maybe post-European actors, since you're working with them. It would be really interesting to get your opinion on that, how you see the trends, what you see they need to level up, because it's definitely the requirements which they are fitting or not. Actually, it would be nice if we could make this panel very practical, and we make it as a bridge between your understanding where the standard is and the understanding where these guys are at the moment. This is, I think, the most important, that you can get an extra access to amazing talent who just didn't know how to do it, and they can get an access to you because you're a new opportunities for them. So maybe we put it in a very practical niche and stream and ask you about that, what you see, what you can recommend, and what are the gaps and potentials. Debbie, shall we start with you? And then
I think that I can't really say particularly a trend for Russian actors, but I think the big difference in casting now is that there are no barriers, there are no borders. People can come literally from anywhere, and because the whole self-taping system has taken off so much, particularly during the COVID period, and people are now very much more used to doing it. I mean, in the past, people tended to be really hopeless at doing them, but now I think they've got much, much better. So I think, I mean, from my point of view, I don't really kind of think in terms necessarily of nationality unless somebody is specifically written in the script as being that. And I will always try and write authentically. So if it says this person's Russian, I will look for a Russian. But I haven't always had a great deal of success, I have to say. It's because of the language, and I think that is the thing that has changed so enormously. For instance, when I met this young man maybe 3 years ago, he didn't speak very good English at all, and now he speaks it perfectly. So it's unfortunate that that is the fact of life. To be cast in an international film, you do have to speak English, and I, in lots of ways, kind of regret that that should be the way it is, but unfortunately that is it. And so the better you are and the more fluent you are and the better you can be at, as you say, presenting yourself, that is vitally important, so that I know how to find you. This is what we were also talking about just beforehand, how, you know, in America and in England and France and various other European countries, there is a system that you can dive into and find the people you're looking for. But I haven't found that in Russia. I don't know that there is.
What do you mean the system?
Well, agents. A platform where
just also we really see this problem, and we've just launched the brand Russian Content Worldwide, just also for your information. Our goal is to make the industry transparent, and we are launching the huge site which will include all the information about the industry, and we are making the actors sector as well, because we see it's untransparent. We sometimes face the difficulty with the local agents because they feel we're kind of disturbing them to sell the Russian talents, which is not true. Our goal is to help them to be known for you, because we are not the sales agents. But this is definitely the problem, especially in this segment, because if in the field of projects or sellers or even producers, we made this transparency and we brought it within the last 1.5 years. In actors, this is our next step. We're definitely going to do so.
It's essential, I think, because we have to know where you are and how to find you, and any information that you have must be up to date. So photographs have to be looked at all the time and kept up to date. If you can have a show reel all to the good, you know, how to find you, email addresses and all the rest of it. It just makes life so much easier, because if we don't know where you are, how do we ever get hold of you? So it's all very well to have the talent, but you have to be accessible. And that's what Subtitle has done as well, is, you know, when that first started, it was a showcase for films from all over the place. And as actors were invited, that we discovered that most of them didn't have agents, and so it's like, well, how are we going to find them? That's how Subtitle talent was born.
Steve, you have an amazing portfolio of Russian actors and a great experience, and maybe based on that, because definitely language is an important part of that. But we must confess there is also a mentality thing. So maybe you could tell a bit about that. How is the integration process taking part and place, and what's could help Russian young talents to get closer to working with international projects?
Well, I mean, I think you summed it up. English is key. English is like the most vital part of it, and developing your English as you go. Debbie made a point with Alexander when he started. When I first met him in Moscow 3 years ago, his English was good, but he's at a point now whereby his English is probably better than mine is at this point. He just, you know, and he's in Cannes in a French film, which is just incredible. I think it's a brilliant time for Russia in general, not just acting, but I think in terms of filmmakers as well. You've got Councillor Balagov, people like that coming through, breaking through in America, and they're still in their 20s, people like that. It's insanely hopeful, and with that comes a lot of talent too. So I think the difference is maybe in the past, English language wasn't there, but the likes of, you know, Danila Kozlovsky in Vikings, Yuri Kolokondnikov in several projects now. English has been key to that whole process. I'd echo what Debbie says about self-taping. That's opened the whole world up. You don't have to be based in London or New York or LA. You can get a shot. I think the casting side of it is opening up too. It's no longer just about playing villains. It has opened up in a big way, and I think a big part of that is actually, and it's quite a new thing, but I think it's the streaming platforms coming on board in Russia. The Netflix, the Amazons, what they've done is by buying local content, putting them online, the likes of, say, using Marianne Spivak, say, like Loveless, use that as an example. That's an amazing movie, but not everybody will have seen Loveless. And then she's in the Danny Boyle film, and maybe not everybody's seen that, but we hear much more about The Lake, which isn't in English, it's in Russian. And people emailing from Russia, so from America, saying, who's this amazing actress? Paulina Andreeva, same thing with Better Than Us and Method as well. That's kind of been a big thing. And that's an actress who literally has not worked in English yet. But there's huge interest in her because people recognise talent, and it's just become more, I think it's much more accessible than it ever was. But English is key. If you want to work internationally, you have to keep working. And that's difficult because if you don't have a job lined up in the English language, it's hard to be motivated. So that has to come from the actor themselves, and you have to, like an athlete, like a pianist, you have to put the work in the time.
As you already represent a lot of Russian actors, are you looking for like specific profiles now, or like what are other criteria today for you when you choose your clients?
I think it's a bit basic and boring to say, but just as long as they're very good and they speak English, I mean that's really it. Personally, for me, because we see a lot of tapes, we got a lot of show reels coming through. It's an actor that's in the moment. That's somebody who is always appealing to me. Somebody who's not thinking about what's coming up next and what they've just done a second ago. They're literally sitting in that sweet point. They're sitting in that moment and they're within it. That's a sign and mark of a true actor, I think. People sometimes get very obsessed about the social media bit of it and the external stuff. And I think my whole thing is always just work on the acting. Be aware of the business side of it, but work on the acting. Become the best actor you could possibly become, and then see what happens. And also, don't forget the fact that, like I said, amazing work is coming out of Russia, obviously on stage, but in TV and in film. If there's a better project in Russia, myself and my partner Richard will always say to that actor, do the project at home. You don't have to do something just because it's in the UK or it's English language. That doesn't make it necessarily better. But if you are going to work internationally, then it becomes about clever choices. So like with Yuri Kolokondnikov, working with great directors on smaller roles that he wouldn't do back home necessarily because he's a leading man in Russia. But he can work with Christopher Nolan or Michael Bay because he's prepared to work in roles that give huge exposure, and huge exposure to Russia too.
Does it help him to get them? Do you feel it and do you see that those young talent, it helps to come to the next level quickly, and does it really work this way, or do you feel that they will remain in these niche roles primarily?
No.
What is the perception?
Not at all. I think kind of the latest thing
to motivate actors, learn English and do small roles.
I think it's really exciting where things are going. It's kind of blowing the lid off things. Like I look after 8 clients in Cannes this year, 4 of which are Russian and 2 of which aren't really in Russian films. And one's directed by a Finnish director, one's Rachel Lang, a French director. That's really exciting. So I think the sky's the limit. That's, again, you have to be able to communicate, you have to be able to act as well in English as you act in Russian. And sometimes that's an issue where people are incredible performers in their own language, but it just doesn't translate when they speak English. That can be an issue sometimes. And there's no real shortcuts to that. It's just practice and hard work. Yeah.
He's been working in foreign languages. Alexander, can you tell us about your role in Rachel Lang's film? How did you prepare for this role? Do you actually play in French?
Yeah.
Just tell us something about it.
Yeah, it's French. I didn't much French before this film. I lied to everybody. It's okay.
Oh my God.
It's okay. It's okay if you fulfill your lie after that. It's okay. But if you don't, it's not. Yeah. So About the film, about the role,
Yeah, about your role. How did you work on the role? How did you
I just lied, and then I was trapped. Yeah, and I had to, I had to find a way out of the situation. That's how I made the role. So I was like, I had panic attacks like it was nice. I was reading French lesson books and everything, and hanging out with French guys like a lot, just to.
Did they help you find it?
Yeah, a lot.
Your friends, just friends, no coach, not
No coach. It was quite chaotic, but I had a lot of colleagues from French foreign region, and I told them truth, and they were hanging out with me, like drinking a lot and everything, and teaching me bad words in French, and that's how it works. So integration, for me, like in my opinion, integration is the first thing. So you have, one, two. Integration is the first thing, and as Debbie and Steve said, language is the first. It's not only about like doing your lines. It's not only about reading the script and knowing your text. It's mostly about communicating on the set. That's why it's so important to know to use the language. Because if you know your lines perfectly, but you're in the set and you just stoned because somebody talking to, as I was on the set of Mon Legionnaire. Yeah, somebody's talking to you in English or French. It doesn't matter that you do your lines perfectly. You will never improvise. You will never be alive in the shot. So it's very, very important to do this stuff like 24/7 outside of the shot, and then you will get this little reward in the shot if you do this, in real life. That's how I did this. I was literally doing team booster, like sleeping in the barn with the guys, like running with the tractor tires.
It was very physical.
Yeah. I mean, it was not our idea. It was the idea of Legion officers. They just woke us up like at 3 a.m. at night with the cold water and told us, let's go, we need to run. And we ran somewhere like for 2 hours, like 10 kilometers. And they said, we have a surprise for you. We have a gift. You need to find it. It's somewhere in the forest. You have these coordinates on the piece of paper, and do whatever you want with this. Find the gift. We were just like, what's going on? And just in 2 hours, we found the first gift. It was in the lake, like 1 meter under the water. It was a tractor tire, like 200, 300 kilos.
I think he's still lying, everyone.
It's impossible to make up these things. And we had the same tire in our barn, which was our barrack. And they told us, oh look, it's his brother. It's one tire and another tire. It's like it's brothers. What brothers have to do? Like they have to be together. You need to bring this gift home. Like okay, running with this tire. 10 kilometers back, but it was essentially important for me because it was 2 or 3 months prior.
Any other people doing this?
Yeah, prior to the shooting. So when I got into the filming, I was literally really, really prepared. And I don't believe in other ways of doing things.
And may I ask you, and maybe also we have Ms. Shednikova, who is also an actress. You are completely educated in Russia. Do you feel that there is a gap between the Russian education and the international standard? It's a question both to Alexandra and to Anastasia. Or you feel pretty comfortable with having the education that you have, and while on casting processes, you don't feel any problems? Is the Russian education sufficient for acting abroad, or you need extra special training? And then maybe Alexander first. Acting, right, in the profession, because we understood language, integration, presentation, 3 key success factors. But what about the professional preparation?
I would say that English drama schools are not great at preparing people for actual professional work, and that's something I have been shouting about for 40 years. Is why don't they teach screen acting in drama schools? Because they just don't do it. So, yes, pretty much. And so it's very hard for me to cast someone straight from drama school because they haven't had any experience. And it has to be a very special director who will take that leap of faith, as it were. So we're not very good at it either. So.
But what would then, and the next question straight to you, and then we'll go to that. How do you estimate Russian talents in comparison to other international talents? Where are they, you know? If you say 10 is American...
I don't judge on...
No, but it's about, you know, it's to show the direction. Maybe they're very good, and they do, usually with us it's a problem, we underestimate ourselves.
Yeah, well, when I was on their panel for judging the films for the thing, I mean, I saw some extraordinarily talented people. That lovely young girl, with small dark Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw some amazing talent, but unfortunately, not very many of them took that extra leap of being able to speak English. So, I mean, the talent is definitely there, but then so there is in many other countries. I mean, you know, Scandinavia or France or Germany. I mean, it's like Steve saying he bases everything on whether they're a good actor. We don't kind of categorise in the same way that maybe you are thinking. I don't know. I mean, we're constantly breaking the mould, as it were. Things are very different from the way they used to be, and you know, leading ladies don't have to be gorgeous with a fabulous figure anymore. We have a lovely actress called Olivia Colman who has, you know, won an Oscar. I mean, you would never in your life think that she would be cast. It's like Frances McDormand. The people, it's their talent that's important.
Well, I graduated from Russian Institute of Theatre Arts. So the moment I moved from Russia to another country was also the moment when I transitioned from theatre to film. So I guess I'm on the right path because I put my priorities to languages. I wasn't sure where opportunities would come from, so I started to learn simultaneously English and Dutch. I don't know how my brain survived that, to be honest. And then I started working with very young, emerging international talent in Amsterdam. They were studying in Amsterdam. We have. I'm not saying we. I just got my second European passport, so it is actually now. You know, I'm a bit confused who I am. But I did miss a little bit of a skill there in terms of. So the shot is. When shot is like that, the acting is different than the total shot. And they were learning their craft. I was polishing my craft too and adjusting. But in terms of talent, Russian actors are extremely talented. I'm very proud that I graduated from that school. Every time I'm talking about it, and all of the foreign actors are very jealous of the kind of training that we have. But British schools are also, of course, I'm not saying, it's just, you know, it's an incredible experience to be able to read Stanislavski and Chekhov in a regional language, of course. But yes, I did also go for a very short period of time to New York to do a very intensive program designed especially for actors who are switching from theater to film. So to answer your question, yes, I do wish we had a little bit more of on-screen training and also a little bit more of a business training because I never knew how to. So I find myself in Europe and I wasn't sure, is it appropriate to email people? You know, I don't know. It's like how do I make myself known? I've met so many people who said, well, you are a Russian actress who speaks English, has European paperwork. We were looking for a Russian actress yesterday because a very famous Russian actress couldn't come from Moscow because of paperwork issues. Where have you been? I don't know. I'm on Spotlight. I'm on Internet. I'm coming to festivals. And yet, I just had this issue about making myself just available,
Present.
So just, so I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So you claim that the application is actually very good. You need some extra. What is your feeling? Did you have to have some extra training or just to get to the role?
I will try to be sure. The problem is I'm a bit radical about this question about drama skills in Russia. I've always been, so it's not a secret. So, in my opinion, we have to shut all the drama schools in Russia. And I've been telling this like my whole life. I'm sorry for that, not because they're necessarily teaching us something wrong, but because they are a little bit misleading. You know what I mean?
Misleading. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Because they are like literally. We have 5 drama schools in Moscow, and I'm not just talking about like other cities. I don't know. The thing is, they play really safe. If you know what I mean. They teach you to play really safe. They never teach you to risk.
They teach you to play perfect in a way. No.
To play perfect and play safe. Safe to not to risk at all. To not to take a risk. And they know nothing about like filming. Because by chance I have a diploma of theatrical director, and I worked in theaters a lot. And our theaters is great, of course, but it has nothing to do with filming actually. Because for some reason we really divide these two things, like playing in theater and playing in films. But it's not working like this. So it's much easier than to risk. Than to rebuild all the drama school system in Russia. It's much easier to shut it down. Oh, no. Okay, I have a solution, guys. I mean, come on. I'm not just suggesting shut it down.
We're all...
My suggestion is to imagine that we are kind of like students of blackmail, for example. Blacksmith. Just imagine, yeah? Masseria. So you just choose the guy you like. You choose the Brian Gosling, for example. You like how he plays, yeah. And then you're just watching his movies and you're trying to copy him until you're doing something good. And you just trying to practice all this stuff that you see around you and that you like. And never read some, these books about how you need to play this small circle of attention, middle circle of attention. It will not help you. You just need to see how can Phoenix works. You need to copy him. You need to be inspired by this guy. And for example, you need just to choose the guys who are really close to you with your psychophysics, maybe with your philosophy, and just try to keep up with them. And that's what I've been doing all my life. I throw out all these books, and that's why I don't have my diploma. It's a lie. Again. So they gave me just the cover. They gave me just the cover of the diploma because I didn't get back the books from library. I swear, it's true. I didn't burn them all. I just lost them, and they told me you need to bring back the gun. Because I took the gun, like the theatrical gun, and my actors, they just lost it, that props. And they lost it, and I didn't have money for it, it was like 5,000 rubles. And then I lost 2 books of Nikolai Gogol. But I had to go to Moscow Art Theater, and they told me you need to bring diploma. We can't give you money for your work if you will not bring the diploma. So they gave me just the cover of diploma and nothing inside. No marks, nothing. And I brought it to the theater and I told them tomorrow I will bring the marks, I will bring the inner side of my diploma, and I never did that. It's still there because I didn't bring back the gun and everything. And it's okay, actually. I'm here with you. That's the best example. It doesn't work like this. All this drama school.
But
actually, it's not all like this. I graduated from geek, and my master took all of us, our course, by the camera. And we never shot like usually people do. My master said that this is a movie school, so I want to train you become a movie actress and actress. So when people just trying to read like blah blah blah, she said, stop, what are you talking about? She said, take a chair and in front of me and sit. I was like sitting like this, and he's sitting there, and I would just talk with him and just read my poems and something else. So actually, it's a really interesting experience before, because when I just came to Russia, my Russian's so bad, but he still took me just because he said, you are an actress, you're an actor or not, it's not depends how you're gonna play, it's your personality. The point is, don't try to behave like other people do. You are yourself. Maybe there's something interesting just you can do. So that's why, even you're not Chinese, so what? Even you don't speak Russian so well, but you can learn that. And he said, nobody can become a star. If you want to be someone, I cannot teach you, oh guys, become an actress. If you will be, just your decision. You want to go to this road. I would tell you at the beginning, it's really difficult to do that, I understand. And then I created my career for 10 years. I became someone in Russia, but I just give it up everything, because I want to grow up. I know that even I can make more movies and play more in Russia. It's interesting, but still the same. I'm interested in the international market. That's why I gave up everything. I came to Berlin. And what I did, I know nobody, and I just, no one gave a shit about me. And I just wrote everybody. In 2 months, all the agency, it doesn't matter, a director agency, like a commercial agency, because I'm doing movie and make some advertisement for life. And also at the same time, and still keep writing all the casting director that I can find, but I still get answer. Like 120, I got 3 of them. And somebody already gave me back. So I'm that kind of person. I'm always happy. So I'm always really grateful that people can even take their time to answer me. So that's why I'm here. So maybe nobody knows what's gonna happen. I just happy that I'm here.
The combination of talent and ambition. I mean, you'll never get anywhere if you haven't got the ambition, and I think that that's an enormous part as well. But it should never be over ambitious. I don't think, because you have to moderate the whole thing. Because actors are rejected so much, you have to know how to live with that. But as you say, you try 120 and you get 3. Well, that's brilliant. Because if you hadn't tried, you would never got any of them. So, acting is a very strange business, and not one that is for everybody by any means. But I mean, at least I'm not sure that education is that important, to be honest with you. I think. Particularly, there's a film which came out in England last year called Rocks. I don't know if anybody's seen it, which is about a group of young kids at school, and they're all from immigrant families from Africa and Somalia and here, there and everywhere. And the director went out and did these workshops with all these youth organisations and just picked a few of these girls out, and they were all absolutely fantastic. They were just, but she got to know them so well and built up the trust with them. It was almost like they weren't even acting; they were just being themselves. As you say, be yourself. You can't. There's no point in being anybody else, because that's what makes you different from everybody else. So I'm with him on the education.
just one little detail for those who don't know. Per master is pure Serbian. First and it's not like very often you have this kind of master. This guy's great.
That's true. But you're also a unique example of this success of a foreign talent in the country, which also tells about you a lot, for sure. She speaks perfect Russian, just for your information. So her Russian is amazing. So I think she will speak German soon.
And it's a very interesting, and I agree with this point about trust, which is the crucial key in any education. What I find interesting that Alexander, you were surrounded by friends who actually helped you to train your French and get prepared to this project, which brings me to our last speaker who didn't talk yet, Julia Hamitova, because this is the idea, I think, that you've created this community of friends, colleagues who would create this trust and help each other. Could you please talk?
Thanks, Daria. Hello, everyone. Thank you, dear colleagues, for this very important conversation. This is very important for all of them who want to build European career for young Nastya and all of them who came on our community casting bridge. Yes, I will be brief, but I just little bit say about casting bridge. Casting bridge created 3 years ago as a part of the industry forum Russian film in London, and its goal is to create communication between casting directors, Russian casting director, international casting directors, and agents, and of course actors from Russia. And I'm very happy because now a lot of more and more industry people, filmmakers know casting bridge and sometimes call me, wrote me, so can you connect please with agent Anna Chipovskaya or Lisa Boyarskaya, can you help us? And I remember my first time, okay, I can help, okay. And then when we start to create forum and a lot of thinking with Olga and Philip, we need to do something. We need do something platform for all of them who can looking for an agent or some project. And 6 years, sorry, not 3 years, 6 months ago, we created a community of English-speaking Russian actors, casting bridge community, and it's for support, of course, for encouragement, yes. And now we have around 20 actors. You can see on the website, or you can see on this audience, because they came here special for the networking, for watch movie, for to be in this great festival. So, and I think it's not just one Russian actors like came on the movie. No, it's need to be really trend.
I also know that in the audience we have Julia Kim, right, the producer from Berlin, and you wanted to share your point of view on the topic as well. Would you like to take a mic?
Just come here.
And then we'll give a chance to the audience to ask your questions.
First of all, I just want to say that 5 years ago I started to organize the short-term educational trainings in Russia, and we invited agents from America, CIA, UTA, and Union. And we understand that in Russia it's really interesting case that the casting directors combining role and as an agent. Actually, this situation not exist in any other countries.
Forbidden.
Yeah, it's forbidden. But in Russia, it's okay, and actually, it's more than okay. So one casting director promoting the same actors, and we have a range of faces, and there is almost no chance for young people to be famous in Russian context. But I'm very happy that, for example, we can see example of Maria Bakalova, who was filmed in Gorod, who is ambassador of Slavic languages and who's promoting accent on the screen. That it's okay that somebody is speaking native language and when you speak another third and folk language, it's fine that you have an accent. And I think it's very interesting point. And what I noticed additionally that specific of Russian institutions and education is going deep to the roots, and maybe dramatic school is very strong. But as somebody pointed that we don't have a business background, and it's essential. And now living in Germany and making co-productions with European countries, I understand that sometimes for us it's difficult to deal with actors who don't understand actually background. The show really important, TV important, and everybody asking so many questions, but actually it's simple. And I'm glad that Roskina has this initiative to make this transparent and database and all material. It's really important.
Yeah, I also think so. And you know, just because I also thank you for this point, and just to make it very practical, first I would like to ask you if there are any questions from the audience. But meanwhile, if there are questions, I wanted to ask you, because we are really going to develop the topic of actors, we are really intending to bring the talents on the global level, and it would be precious if each of the speakers could give 3 advice, which we basically, to the Russian actors, what you recommend them to do. Top 3 advice from you, your personal advice. What can you recommend? I don't know, maybe we'll start from there.
Three things, but we've kind of covered most of them, I think. You can get all sorts of information online about how to do self-taping. Since self-taping has become so important now, you can find out all sorts of things from that. I mean, that's something that I've done talks about here, there and everywhere, and rather unethically probably showed examples of some very bad ones and also some very good ones. And it's unbelievable how people just don't think about them. It's more than 3 words. But getting a good self-tape is vital. That's one. Precious.
Yeah, and I agree completely. I think show reels as well, if you've got Russian material, if it's a short film, if it's a student film, whatever it is, subtitles. It's really easy to do. You can do it on your laptop. Pretty much every laptop's got software that can do that now. But that's the difference between someone in the UK, someone in America being able to understand what you're saying. It makes a big difference. Have contact details available if it's on IMDb Pro, or you don't have to spend money necessarily, but just there's a lot of times where I'll watch films, or projects, and I see something very interesting and I can't contact them. There's no way. You've got to trace it back to the casting director, and it just takes a long time. So I think just be available and have contact details up there. And then I guess the last thing is kind of building on what Debbie said in terms of self-taping. There's nothing to say that you can't do self-tapes at home yourself. Practice, practice, practice. Because if you get an audition and you're in a situation where you have to tape for the casting director for a particular project, you want to just be able to turn the camera on and be ready to go and have everything set up and kind of know what you're doing. Spend your free time doing that, or a portion of your free time doing that, and really developing skills around that, because it's something you totally can do. But when you have a job on, that's kind of the last. You've got too much on. It's trying to practice that at the same time is too much.
Thank you.
Well, not to repeat the same things, but I think that it's always important to learn and to invest in yourself. And these days all the informations are mostly available online, so when someone didn't Google before it how to make a self-tape, it really tells something about that person and about the ambition, about everything else. So I would say learn as much as you can, from languages to yourself and your conscience and everything that has to deal with that. Learn acting, learn everything that you can and that is connected with that. Learn business, how you can present yourself, how you can connect with others. And then also be present on the festival, be present on markets, be present online. So it's impossible that I saw the other day the lead female role from a movie in a competition doesn't have an IMDb. So that's, I struggle with that, because I think that that's just a small amount of your time and engagement, and will for sure make something out of it, and it will be important. So be on eTalent, be on Duart, be on IMDb, use everything, because you never know. From 130 contacts, if you got 3, you're good to go.
I would say